kale juice. I gotta make this like really fast, which I guess is good for y'all because I'm hella long with it sometimes. Because my coach is on the East Coast, and if you know my coach, they do not play, and I need to work out tonight, so gotta make this quick. Now, today what I did is I listened to episode 2 again. I think it's because it was so many names, it was throwing me off, and I kept rewinding it, and it was like making me, and I had a wild day today, so I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna listen to my other fun podcast and then revisit it. I listened to episode 3, but I didn't really like comprehend anything because I was still like out of the loop of what happened in episode 2. So I'm gonna re-listen to episode 3 tomorrow. So today is, I guess, technically episode 2, how I wanted to do it in the beginning. I said I was gonna do, or maybe I said 2 episodes a day. So I think I'm gonna stick to 1 episode a day. I said 2 a day because they're only like 45 minutes long. I'm at work for 8 hours. I could really kill the whole series in a day. But, you know, anywho. So now I got the tea when it comes to Eugene. So, okay. There's a guy, Eugene. He has a wife, 2 babies, a law degree, and then he donated all of his like law hours to the temple. Like anything they needed help with, he like, I'm your boy, right? So then Tim and Grace are married. I think this is what threw me off because it's like, why do we care about Tim and Grace? But you'll find out in the end. So Tim and Grace, they're married. Tim is the assistant district attorney of like somewhere in California. Tim and Grace are super close to Jim Jones, aka Dad, the leader. So they're in that tight circle. Legend has it that the couple Tim and Grace asked Jim Jones, aka Dad, to give them a son since Tim couldn't do that for Grace. She had a baby named John. So of course Jim Jones was like, you know, I got you, bro, because I got you, bro, I'll do the baby. But then there's a live recording of Jim Jones, aka Dad, stating, oh, Tim came to me and told me his wife Grace was lusting after me, and basically he set up the alley oop de whoop boop boop for me to pull up on his wife and test her to see if she would try anything. Which, okay, say if that was true, why y'all ain't just stop at kissing? Why you had to put your penis in her vagina? So he's like, out of that situation came a baby. Mind you, Jim, there's a live recording of him saying that. But honestly, I'm gonna say it now because it's on my spirit and that's how I felt when I was listening. I think he raped her. Oh, I know. Okay, so I'm gonna say why later. So I think I wrote it later. Okay, so 2 weeks after the baby's born, so this baby's only 2 weeks old, Tim signed off his rights. Tim is like, oh, Jim Jones, aka Dad, is the father of baby John, which, okay, bro. Okay, but once again, listening to it, re-listening to it today, I was like, you know what? That kind of makes sense, because episode 1 they were talking about how Jim Jones would have people sign faux documents to show their loyalty to him. So I think the baby was Tim's baby, but he wanted to show this loyalty to Jim Jones and was like, let me sign off my rights to my child. So that was 2 weeks. Grace fell all the way back. Grace was like, you know what? The temple ain't for me. And then she started a legal battle, basically, you know, letting the courts know Jim Jones ain't the baby daddy, which let me know I really believe that he was not the father. I believe he was not the father, and that Tim signed away his rights so he could show his loyalty to Jim Jones. Yeah, basically she go to court and she's like, yo, he's not the pappy, like, cut it out. So it's this whole legal battle. But at the time, Tim is still like, ride for my niggas, I'll die for my niggas, oh, fuck with my other niggas. So he's like super loyal. Like, I guess he just don't care about his wife no more. So I personally think Jim Jones raped his wife. I think Jim Jones raped Tim's wife, right? I think she told her husband what happened. And I think her husband's loyalty was stronger to Jim Jones than his actual wife, that he signed away his child's rights and was just like, my loyalty lies with him. And I think that was her ultimate red flag. I think that's why she left the temple. Like, I think she had the baby, let him know, like, yo, this happened, this, that, and the third, and her husband wasn't riding for her. Like, she probably assumed, I just had this man's baby, talking about Tim, because I'm assuming it's Tim's baby. And she confided in her husband. Her husband's like, yeah, okay. And just like, I don't know, I don't like it. Or maybe did some brainwashing stuff, like, oh, he did it out of love, or oh, that's the Monday ritual. Child, when you brainwash, you brainwash. So Tim and Jim Jones is like fighting the custody battle together. Like, basically Tim is on Jim Jones' side in the court, like, yeah, that's Jim's baby, that's dad's baby, blah blah blah. And they send the baby, well, he leaves the baby in Jonestown, Guyana, which Cali to Guyana, that is not around the corner. So basically they kidnapped the child, put him in Guyana. So then Tim was sent to Jonestown, and let me sip my juice. And this one, it gets juicy. So Tim gets sent to Jonestown, and basically he only there for a limited time, and he's like, Niz, I'm out. So remind you, Tim is a district attorney in California. Google it. I know the salary is 6 figures. So if you leave from beautiful California, leaving beautiful California, such a lovely state, and go to Guyana, which is beautiful. I'm not shading Guyana, but where they were, and living in shacks and eating rice and cassava every day, homeboy was like, I gotta go. I gotta head back to the States. And I think he had an awakening too. I think he saw how crazy Jim Jones, aka Dad, was getting, and he was just like, let me go back to my wife. I miss my wife. I love my wife. So he goes back to Cali with his wife, and now which I know this confused the hell out of the courts, because now he goes back to California, and this time he's fighting with his wife during the court battle. So he's saying, no, this is my child. No. Or maybe he did, but whatever. He's fighting on his wife's side now, like she needs custody of his child. So Eugene, who we talked about in the beginning, who was an attorney, a lawyer that was working and donating law hours to the temple, he continued to fight the legal battle on behalf of Jim Jones. But San Francisco was basically like, the court, they was like, bro, what the fuck? And they were just like, it was easy. It was just like, yeah, get this child back to the States. So they gave Grace custody. Tim went back to the jungle to get the baby John. Child, this lasted 6 days. 6 days of madness, basically. 6 days of madness. So basically, Jim Jones was like, if anybody takes baby John from the camp, we're gonna commit a mass suicide, blah, blah, blah. Like, basically, like, all these threats. So, of course, I guess guess the Guyanese authorities wasn't really willing to help Tim to go get his child, because it's like, okay, bro, it's either we go get your child and everybody dies, including your child, or we just fall back and y'all figure it out. Y'all come to like a realization. I don't know. So for some reason now Jim Jones thinks everybody's out to get him, and he's thinking about moving the camps to Cuba or Russia. Jim Jones then called, yeah, this dude's crazy. He calls another white night ceremony, which is like, you know, everybody getting together to do the mass suicide. So at the white night, he handed out all, you know, the little tasty poison to everybody. This dude's sick, I'm sorry. He then tells everyone to drink the tasty poison. So Eugene is literally sitting there, well, standing there watching his children, because you know Eugene has a wife and 2 babies, well, children. I call them babies. So he's watching the 2 children drink the poison. Like, Eugene is fucking horrified. He low-key having a fucking heart attack. Later on, Jim Jones is like, psych, this was just a test to your loyalty, blah, blah, blah. But Eugene was like, fuck out of here, and did. Like, he went back to Cali. So, the Guyanese people ended up revoking Tim's visa, so he had to go back to the States in Cali. Like, he didn't have a choice. So he was sent home without baby John. And the saddest part is, him and his wife Grace, they never got baby John back. Like, baby John, they never saw their child again. Like, So, you know, Eugene's back in the States, and he's begging his wife, like, girl, Bull is crazy, please come back. Because, you know, she got the kids too. So he's like, yo, like, please come back. His wife, I mean, she was down. Like, she worked on the medical team. Later on, she died during the suicide, the mass suicide, or Jonestown massacre suicide. And they found a letter after, like, she passed. Well, she committed suicide. And the letter basically was telling Jim Jones how, I mean, she's on the medical team, so she's teaching him different techniques, how they can kill everybody, and, oh, only the weak should go first, and blah, blah, blah. Like, sis was, I mean, and I'll slit this person's throat if they're not down with the cause. I mean, she was serious. Like, there was no, like, she was seriously brainwashed. There was no saving her. She basically, Grace, his wife, Eugene, she told him, bring your ass back. All will be forgiven. Don't you miss me and your children. So she was probably sweet when she did it. So Eugene's like, yeah, I miss my squad. I'ma just go back. Child, Eugene gets back to the camp. They treated him like he was a monster. They drugged him and locked him in the box underground. So he down there for days. When he come out, he's basically zombie. Like, can you imagine being underground? And in Guyana, it's hot as hell. So he comes out, he's like zombie, like, basically. They put him back in the medical, like, camp area, which his wife works there. So they put him under his wife's care. So she had her eyes on him 24/7. He ended up dying as well during the mass suicide, the Jonestown massacre suicide. But it was clear he wanted life in the States. So I'm positive he did not drink it for fun. Like, they probably had to use a syringe and give him the poison. So family in the United States that, like, you know, had people at the camp, they ended up hiring private investigators for help and stuff like that. This part I don't understand. I'm gonna just leave it alone. I'm learning to leave because I'm getting too deep in the rabbit hole, and I think I don't comprehend some things that I'm learning from this. And the more, and I was getting frustrated with myself, like, well, why don't I understand this? Why don't I understand that? But it's just, I'm not there. I'm not brainwashed, so it doesn't make sense to me. Like, where's the logic? So I'm learning to lose all the logic and just report to y'all what I heard. So, and this is how I interpret it. Maybe the podcaster meant something else, but people in the United States, the ex-communicators, I think they were calling them in the podcast, the ex-members of the temple, they were like, hire investigators for help, get their family and children back. And the one investigator, he was like basically with the shits. He's like, yo, we could just pull up and kidnap the babies in the middle of the night. Like, what are they gonna do? He was like, we could just pull up there and kill Jim Jones. That's their leader. But it seems like the investigator went to the camp and then turned on the people back in the US, like basically snitched on them, like, yeah, they want their kids, they're thinking about killing you, stuff like that. But, and that's what threw me off. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. But I'm like, maybe Jim Jones said that because he was loopy. So in his head, he probably thought that. I don't know. But they held rehearsals on how to respond to the media. Like if anybody ever came with camera crews and asking them questions and stuff like that. And if you answered the questions wrong, you were punished. And so his punishments, some of them were like classes or lessons, but let's be real, it wasn't no like sit down, take note lessons, like cuckoo. So people started fleeing from his inner circle. Like people just started dipping out on him. They told the police and the media when they got back to the States, like, yo, bull's crazy. We ain't getting fed, like ain't no food there, which made me think, any community, people die. I wonder where they eating people. And I wonder, did he lie to them? Like, did he say, oh, we made it into town and got a pig for you guys, and then everybody feasted off that, when in reality it was human? But yeah, that's really the gist of it all. But it was too much. Like, and I'm starting to think like my mental can only handle one episode a day because homeboy is sick, and all of his like the live recordings they play in the episode, it gets like really like he just screams over the microphone, and it's, I don't know how people listen to it. Like it make my head hurt. He's like, no, and it's like half preaching, half screaming, and I just, no gracias. So I'll see y'all tomorrow for episode